Moff Gideon's reaction to his clones being destroyed revealed something interesting about his appearance in Season 3. This theory is more than what if Moff Gideon is still alive, but what if Moff Gideon, the real Moff Gideon, never actually appeared in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, or at least the finale. Before we jump into this theory though, that draws from some important Legends content, I want to thank each of you for subscribing. The channel just reached 10,000 subscribers and I couldn't be more thankful for that. I'm brainstorming a few ways that I want to give back to you, so stay tuned. Let me preface this theory by saying I hope that Moff Gideon is gone for good. I thought he was a great villain for the story being told, but now that Mandalore has been taken back and Bo-Katan is ruling, Moff Gideon's story should be done. That being said, the way he interacted with Din Djarin before their fight reminded me of another character in Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy. Joruus C'baoth was a clone of the real Jedi Master Joruus C'baoth. Throughout these books, it's continually hinted that C'baoth has gone insane, the clone. Captain Pellaeon, who we saw in chapter 23 of The Mandalorian, does not trust C'baoth the whole time he and Thrawn are working with him because he suspects the Jedi clone is off his rocker. Much like Gideon, C'baoth insisted on recreating the Empire in his image, and I'll come back to that with Moff Gideon in a second, but what I want to talk about is Moff Gideon did not seem himself as he interacted with Din Djarin, who had just destroyed all of his clones. Gideon has typically been level-headed and calm. Even at the end of Season 2 when Luke Skywalker appeared, he showed fear, but it didn't seem to snap like he did in the Season 3 finale. But, maybe I'm reading too much into it, and it was simply because Gideon could see this was the end for him. I'll admit this interaction is brief because Din wastes no time pressing his attack on Gideon, but in this brief moment there seems to be a flicker of rage and emotion that really did remind me of C'baoth from the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Could this be a hint that Moff Gideon during the finale of The Mandalorian was only a clone and the real Moff Gideon is still out there? I guess the theory could go in the opposite direction and that the real Moff Gideon was actually killed en route to his New Republic trial, but I doubt that. If bringing back Gideon was the right move for future Star Wars projects, this is the way that I'd accept it. That the Gideon we faced in the Season 3 finale was a clone and the real one is out there waiting for a moment to return. Even if this theory is just empty speculation, the claims that Gideon made in regards to his clones are a big deal. He claimed that his clones could wield the Force, and that alone would probably debunk my theory because the Gideon who fought Din and Bo never used the Force. But that's assuming he succeeded in creating clones who could wield the Force. And this is a really big deal for contingency plans that Palpatine had in place. The Empire has been interested in cloning since the beginning, and that is largely because of Palpatine's desire to cheat death. In The Rise of Skywalker, we see that he barely achieved this. The body his spirit transferred to was weak and feeble and crumbled beneath the power of the Force he wielded. Din Djarin destroying Moff Gideon's clones helps us to maybe understand why, 30 years later, it does not seem that the Empire has made any real progress in cloning Force-sensitive beings or creating Force-sensitive clones. All of the progress Gideon made with cloning was for himself. It's not likely that he shared the success of his cloning with other Imperials. My main reason for saying this is that he cloned himself. That tells me that he had plans of rebuilding the Empire in his image. If he was truly loyal to Palpatine's Empire, he likely would have been using the successes he was experiencing to contribute towards Palpatine's resurrection. I've seen others say that this was a story change or inconsistency with the cloning facility in Season 2, where Mando and friends see vats of clones that don't look human. In fact, a lot of them even look Snoke-like. But my theory is that this facility on Nevarro housed a lot of Pershing and Gideon's early work. Once Pershing started seeing success, Gideon pivoted from the Empire's main goal and used the cloning work to clone himself. And you might discount this thought saying Gideon is loyal to the Empire because he chanted "Long live the Empire" with the Shadow Council, a council of Imperial warlords. So I'll be clear in saying Moff Gideon was loyal to the Empire, but I think at this point, he's only loyal to the Empire as far as it is rebuilding it in his image. Quite literally when you factor in the clones of himself. What do you think? Could this have been a Gideon clone and the true Moff Gideon is still out there? Personally, I hope not, and that Gideon is gone for good. It was a satisfying ending to the conflict with him. It's interesting to think about the comparison between Sabaoth and Gideon in this. If they ever decided they wanted to bring him back, this is the way that I'd want them to do that. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'll catch you in the next video, and may the Force be